Hi guys, in today's video we're going to be painting a house Malinax knight from start to finish. But first of all I want to say a huge thank you to my YouTube channel sponsors Goblin Gaming. If you check the description box down below you'll find a direct link to their web store, and every time you purchase anything from the web store it greatly helps my YouTube channel, so please use that link in the description box below. As you seen a moment ago guys, I included some pictures this time because unfortunately when I film at night times I really can't get good footage of the miniatures turning on the turntable, but hopefully you can see what the finished model looked like in the photographs. Okay guys, so I really love the House Malinax colour scheme, and this was painted for Sunny. And hopefully you'll pick up some tips and tricks along the way, and this is going to be a really long video, over 30 minutes in length, so go grab yourselves a nice hot drink or maybe an ice cold beer and we'll get started with the tutorial. Here you can see that I've got all the parts for the miniature in a box. This is like a production line of all the different bits and bobs to the knight. It's much better to paint your knights in sub-assemblies, so you've got all the armour panels separately and then you've got the frame as well separate. Then you can paint the frame in metallics really easily, and then you can paint the armour panels in colours easily. To start off with, I'm using Alclad 2's Lacquer Primer Black. It's important to note that you need a good quality airbrush with PTFE solvent proof packing seals, and also you're well ventilated, as breathing in the fumes from Alclad paints is not wise guys. I'm spraying my airbrush at about 20 psi at 2 to 3 inches away from the model, and I'm slowly building up the primer layer. I have to note that I'm using an Iwata CS Eclipse airbrush that I got from airbrushes.com. You'll find a link in the description box down below to the airbrush that I use. After allowing the primer to dry, we're coming in with Vallejo Metal Colour Gunmetal. This is a fantastic paint and I highly recommend you pick it up guys. It's really important that you actually spray this over a black base coat or primer layer, as it will take a lot less paint to cover the surface, and also you'll get much better, smoother results. After painting the inner skeleton of the knight and the two arms, I'm now coming in with Alclad 2's Lacquer Primer Grey. It's important to note guys that I'm painting in grey now, as the subsequent colours will cover more easily over a grey primer layer as opposed to black. So you use black for what it's best for, and you can use grey and white what it's best for, so it's always a good idea to have a multitude colour of primers. I'm also going back over the base and priming this grey as well, as the subsequent colours that are going to be laid down in a moment will cover better over a grey prime base. Here you can see that I'm only pulling the trigger back a tiny amount and I'm getting very close not to get too much overspray. I'm not worried about masking here as it's so easy to just come back in with the gunmetal colour and just touch up little areas where I get overspray. Now we're going to use Games Workshop Xandri Dust. We have to thin this down as it's not airbrush ready, so I place it into a cup as you can see here and I thin it down to the consistency of about thinned cream. All the armour panels and the head get painted in Xandri Dust by Games Workshop that's been thinned so it sprays nice and smoothly out the airbrush. Vallejo Model Air Medium Gunship Grey is going to be painted onto the base. Vallejo Model Air Light Grey is going to be painted onto the base into all of the centre of each of those cracked tiles. As I mentioned a moment ago, we're going to come back in with the gunmetal colour to touch up any overspray that we've done with the airbrush stage. As it's such an easy colour to cover, I don't worry about masking, and I just come back in with the gunmetal colour on any of the oversprayed areas. Now we're going to create a 50-50 mix of Games Workshop Shade Nuln Oil. So 50% water to 50% Nuln Oil is going to be airbrushed over all of the metallics. Bone white is going to be used to highlight all of the Xandri Dust armour panels. Again, you'll notice that I'm getting really close to the head of the night, and I'm just aiming for the center of each of those panels. After all of the armour panels are highlighted with a bone white, I'm going to come in with Vallejo metal colour gloss varnish. It's important to note, guys, that you take your time to spray this gloss varnish and you don't make the surface too thick and wet, because otherwise it will lead to a really uneven surface. So take your time to build up the gloss varnish layer and you'll get a nice smooth glossy surface. I've taught in previous videos how to apply decals using microset and microsol, which is my favoured preference to actually apply decals. But if you don't have these solutions, you can use a hairdryer. Make sure it's on the lowest heat setting and keep the hairdryer moving at all times so you don't melt any of the underlying paint or plastic or deform the resin, and keep slightly gently brushing at the decal to remove creases as the heat is applied to the part. Now we're going to use Ammo of Migs Streaking Grime for Panzer Grey. As you can see, I'm using a large brush and I'm not too worried about the over spill of the paint, as I'll come back in with some white spirit in a moment and I'll clean up any of the stains that I don't want on the surface. Here you can see I've got some white spirit in a lid and I'm just using it to get rid of all the unwanted stains. Now we're going to use Vallejo Game Air Silver and we're going to dry brush it on all of the metallics. This is just going to catch all the raised edges and make the panels pop a little more. Games Workshop's Abaddon Black is painted on all of the tubing and pipes on the knight. Vallejo Game Air Wolf Grey is going to be dry brushed on the base. This is going to make the base look a little dusty and also catch all the extreme edges and make it pop a little. Now we're going to use AK Interactive's Ultra Matte Varnish. We're going to use this on the armour panels that were gloss varnish, and this is going to get rid of all of that horrid gloss varnish. After the gloss varnish had dried, I'm coming in with Vallejo Metal Colour Gunmetal again, and this time I'm painting all of the details around the panels with a gunmetal colour. AK Interactive's Chipping Colour, which is a dark brown, and you can use any dark brown if you can't get hold of this colour, is going to be used to create subtle chips on the knight just to break up some of those really open panels. And here we have our finished knight. I really hope you liked this tutorial, guys, and if you did, please hit the like button, and also please don't forget to check the description box down below for Goblin Gaming. And thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.